A city under siege from a virus that doesn't discriminate. After a weekend of home confinement, Madrid is now paralyzed by a nationwide lockdown that emptied the streets. Wearing masks and gloves, the few workers who cannot work remotely kept their distance. Anybody they come across is a potential carrier of the virus. All shops, bars and restaurants are closed, and pharmacies are taking extra precautions. At supermarkets, the entrance is monitored to ensure social distance and to avoid food shortages. But even businesses that can open, like bakeries, are unusually quiet. People are too afraid of getting the virus. On the streets, police make sure nobody breaks the confinement, but as Spain fights the spread of the virus, experts warn on the potential harm to the country's economy.
Jeff writes is a Disney fanatic. He's visited Disneyland every day for 2,995 days, except today, because due to the coronavirus, all Disney theme parks have shut. It's just the third shutdown in Disneyland history. The economic loss will be in the millions, but keeping the parks open could have had a far worse human impact. The closures have left the normally busy tourist area of Anaheim a ghost town. The story here in California extends far beyond Disneyland. The state is heading towards lockdown, with bars and restaurants stopping dine-in services, with movie theatres, gyms and recreation centres all now closed. Thousands of people's livelihoods depend on these businesses, and it could be catastrophic for the economy. Employees across the state fear they could face unemployment. No revenue means no money to pay them.
And another setback for airline industries there. European plane maker Airbus is now stopping the production and assembling activities in France and Spain for the next 4 days. This is to fight coronavirus outbreak in the region. Decision came after government announced new measures to curb COVID-19. The move appears to mark the most serious one in Airbus production since a strike at British partner BAE Systems in 1989. Now, according to Airbus, this will allow sufficient time to implement stringent health and safety conditions in terms of hygiene, cleaning and self-distancing, while improving efficiency of operations under new working conditions.
Beijing explained these expulsions, which will concern at least 13 American journalists based in China, as being in retaliation for the American decision to label Chinese state media outlets in the U.S. as being foreign agents and requiring them to cut down some of their staff. Now, that particular American decision was taken in retaliation for the expulsion of 3 Wall Street journalists, Wall Street Journal reporters in China last month. That expulsion followed an op-ed headline in the journal that was considered racist by the Beijing authorities. Worth noting that none of the 3 reporters in question had any role in writing that particular headline. Now, on a deeper level, this shows Washington's increasing concern over the growing Chinese influence over global discourse and the lack of independence of those state media outlets.
Internet speeds could be hit hard as networks struggle to cope with the surge in demand.
The nation's biggest telco with a big request for customers.
People need to be patient and bear with us a little bit.
Telstra promising it will prioritise critical infrastructure like hospitals amid fears the network will struggle with skyrocketing demand. Many Americans working from home are reporting they're unable to download email attachments or make video calls, and that could happen here. To help prevent that, the telco is pleading for businesses like streaming services to do their part to ease congestion.
They can make a difference by reducing the resolution and the definition with which they're making streaming services.
first U.S. tests of a possible coronavirus vaccine are underway. The phase 1 trial is happening in Washington state, one of the hardest hit parts of the country. 50 people there have died. Let me be clear, this trial is totally voluntary. It'll last 6 weeks. 45 healthy individuals between the ages of 18 and 55 are being asked to participate, and Neil Browning is one of them, one of the very first volunteers to actually receive this trial vaccine. Neil, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so this was totally volunteer. You're healthy.
Correct.
Why did you want to do this?
To make this end as quickly as possible for the rest of the world. If I'm healthy enough to be able to contribute research and hoping to find a vaccine sooner than later, why wouldn't I?
In the latest effort to end months of political crisis, President Barham Salih has appointed Al-Zurfi as the new Prime Minister-designate with a clear mandate: hold early elections and unite a deeply divided Iraq.
Bring together all the sides, heal the wounds, mend the rifts. That is the first mission for this man.
Zurfi is among a dozen names who've been considered for the post and the second person to be officially named as Prime Minister-designate since caretaker Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi resigned in November following the deaths of many anti-government protesters demanding change. Just like previous nominees, demonstrators were quick to reject Zurfi, who is a member of parliament.
Don't extradite Assange campaigns say he needs to be released before the outbreak spreads, while Assange's mother, Christine, says her son has chronic health problems and continued incarceration risks his life. The WikiLeaks founder's US extradition hearing at Woolwich Crown Court began last month and is expected to conclude in May. He's wanted in the US for trial on 18 charges, including conspiracy to hack a government computer. Assange's team deny the charges and say the case is politically motivated. Medical practitioner Dr. Tomasz Pieszonek told me Assange's mental and physical health are not in good shape.
Yeah, Anita, so 2 of the 3 deaths now in the past 24 hours are again connected to the outbreak at the Lynn Valley Care Center in North Vancouver. The other fatality is an elderly man in the Fraser Valley. He was in his 80s and died in the hospital yesterday. Now, as for the new cases, we have seen a huge jump. 83 announced today, and they cover every health region in BC. We now have a total of 186 cases province-wide. 116 are in the Vancouver Coastal Health Region, 47 in the Fraser Health Region, 12 are on Vancouver Island now, 7 are in the Interior Health Region, and 4 are in the Northern Health Region. Now, well, today we saw a significant spike in cases.
And Russia here closed its borders to foreigners amid the coronavirus outbreak. President Vladimir Putin said the coronavirus situation was under control in Russia and outbreaks of infection had been contained. Russia reported 114 cases of coronavirus, up from 93 on Monday with no fatalities.